The greatest mistake we make is thinking that success begins with telling people what we plan to do. But true power moves in silence. The strongest trees don't announce their growth, they simply rise. Today, I want to show you how to protect your vision, build influence, and let your results introduce you before you even say a word. Do you know the most powerful people in the world never announce their next move? The greatest leaders, the most successful minds, the true game changers, do you ever hear them shouting about what they're going to do? No, because they understand something most people don't. Power is in what you produce, not in what you promise. Too many people waste time talking about what they're going to do instead of actually doing it. Have you ever seen a tree announce that it's about to grow? Have you ever seen a lion send a warning before it pounces? No, because nature itself teaches us that true power is quiet, true strength is hidden until the moment it is ready to be revealed. The problem with telling people your plans is that the moment you do, you invite opinions, doubts, and unnecessary obstacles. Some will pretend to support you, but secretly hope you fail. Others will take your idea and run faster than you, and worst of all, when you talk too much, you trick your mind into believing you've already done something, when in reality you've done nothing. The greatest men and women in history built their success in the dark, away from the noise, away from unnecessary exposure. They didn't post every step. They didn't announce every goal. They just worked. And when they finally stepped into the light, the world had no choice but to recognize their greatness. You see, real success doesn't need an introduction. When you truly master your craft, when you build something of value, when you become something great, your results will introduce you before you even open your mouth. So I ask you today, are you talking more than you're doing? Are you announcing your dreams before they even have a foundation? Are you giving people access to your vision before it's ready? If you are, stop. Start building in silence. Work behind the scenes. Let your results do the talking. Because when you finally show the world what you've built, they won't just listen, they will respect it. And respect is more powerful than attention. But there's something else, something even more dangerous than just talking too much. It's who you're talking to. Because not everyone deserves access to your vision. Some people are dream killers, some are silent enemies, and some will take what you have and make it their own. So how do you know who to share your vision with? How do you protect your dreams from the wrong ears? That is what we'll talk about next. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful people rarely explain themselves? They don't announce what they're about to do, they just do it. They don't seek approval before making a move, they just move. And when the results show up, the world is left wondering, how did they do that? That, my friend, is the power of strategic mystery. Too many people make the mistake of thinking they need to explain their every step, justify their every action, and convince the world of their potential. But the truth is, the moment you start explaining, you lose your edge, you lose your element of surprise, and worst of all, you give people the opportunity to interrupt your process. Think about it. Have you ever shared an idea with someone and immediately felt the energy drain from it? Have you ever told someone your plans and instead of encouragement, you received doubt? They say things like, "Are you sure that's going to work?" Or, "That sounds risky." Or, "I heard someone else tried that and failed." And just like that, your confidence starts to shake. Not because your idea was bad, but because you gave the wrong people access to it. There is a reason why the most successful people value privacy. They know that their greatest power lies in their ability to move without interference, to build without unnecessary opinions, to execute without distraction. The less people know about your next move, the less they can interfere. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy, it is protection, it is power. Look at how nature works. The eagle doesn't announce its hunt, it just strikes. The sun doesn't need to explain why it rises, it just shows up. The most dominant forces in existence do not ask for permission, they do not seek validation, they simply deliver. So let me ask you, what are you building right now? What dream are you working on? What vision are you shaping? And who have you told about it? Because the wrong audience can destroy a great idea before it even has the chance to grow. Your success does not need an audience at the beginning. It needs discipline. It needs consistency. It needs execution. There will be a time to reveal, but that time is not when the foundation is still being laid. So today I challenge you, hold your plans close. Keep your moves quiet. Let your results introduce you before your words ever do. But there's something even more important than silence, and that is timing. Because even the right move, if made at the wrong time, can lead to failure. So how do you know when to reveal? How do you recognize the perfect moment to step into the light? That is what we'll talk about next. You have ever seen a seed grow in broad daylight, exposed to every element, every hand, every distraction? No. A seed begins its journey in the dark, buried beneath the soil, hidden from the world. It needs that hidden season to take root, to grow strong, to develop a foundation before it ever breaks through the surface. Your vision is no different. One of the biggest mistakes people make is exposing their dreams too soon. They get excited, they feel inspired, and the first thing they do is start talking. They tell their friends, their family, their coworkers. And in doing so, they invite criticism, doubt, and even competition before their vision is ready. Not everyone who listens to your dreams is clapping for you. Some people smile in your face but secretly hope you fail. Others take what you've shared and try to beat you to the finish line. And then there are those who don't mean harm, but their own fears, their own limitations, their own failures will make them project negativity onto you. Are you sure that's a good idea? That sounds risky. I don't think people will support that. And suddenly, the confidence you once had starts to shake, not because your vision was weak, but because you let the wrong voices into your process. The most powerful dreams are built in silence. They are developed in private. They are nurtured away from unnecessary eyes until the time is right. Because when something is still growing, it is fragile. It needs protection. It needs security. It needs time. Think about the tallest buildings in the world. Before anyone ever sees them rise, there is a long season where the foundation is being laid. Deep underground, before a single brick is placed, the groundwork is being prepared. No one sees it, no one celebrates it, but it is the most crucial part of the process. If you expose your vision too early before your foundation is strong, you risk it collapsing under the weight of doubt, criticism, and opposition. But if you keep it hidden long enough to grow roots, by the time the world sees it, it will be unstoppable. So, what's the lesson? Move in silence. Work behind the scenes. Let your vision develop in private so that when it finally comes to light, no opinion, no criticism, and no opposition can shake it. But privacy is only one part of the equation. The other part, discipline. Because even if you keep your vision hidden, if you lack the discipline to work on it every day, it will never become reality. So how do you develop the discipline to stay committed, stay consistent, and see your vision through to the end? That is what we'll talk about next. Have you ever noticed how the most influential people don't go around telling others that they're influential? They don't beg for attention. They don't chase validation. They don't try to prove themselves with empty words. No, they let their impact do the talking. Real influence is not about making noise. It's not about constantly reminding people of who you are or what you plan to do. It's about results. It's about presence. It's about becoming so valuable that people can't ignore you even if you never say a word. But here's the mistake most people make. They think influence comes from announcements. They think if they tell enough people about their dreams, if they shout their goals from the rooftops, then somehow their words alone will create success. But words without action are just empty noise. Have you ever met someone who is always about to do something great? They talk about writing a book, starting a business, making big moves, but year after year, nothing changes. Why? Because influence isn't built through talk. It's built through execution. The most powerful people move with strategy, not noise. They don't seek to impress, they seek to produce. They don't beg for opportunities, they create them. And by the time the world takes notice, they are already 10 steps ahead. Think about a master chess player. They don't announce their next move. They don't reveal their strategy. They study the board, they think ahead, and when they finally move, it's checkmate. That's how true influence works. It's about staying focused, staying disciplined, and letting your work make the statement for you. So let me ask you, are you more focused on looking successful than actually becoming successful? Are you spending more time talking about your goals than actually working on them? Because the moment you shift from seeking validation to seeking results, everything changes. People are drawn to value, not noise. The more you build, the more you create, the more you deliver, the more influence you gain without ever having to announce a thing. But influence is not just about silence, it's also about timing. Because even if you're producing results, if you reveal them at the wrong time, you risk losing everything you've built. So how do you know when to speak and when to stay silent? How do you recognize the perfect moment to step forward without losing your advantage? That is what we'll talk about next. Have you ever noticed that the most powerful people don't need to announce their power? They don't walk into a room demanding attention, yet the moment they arrive, everyone takes notice. Why? Because true power doesn't come from what you say, it comes from what you do. Too many people believe that success starts with making an announcement. They think if they tell the world about their plans, if they make enough noise, if they convince enough people to believe in them, then they will succeed. But the truth is, the more you talk, the more vulnerable you become. The moment you reveal your plans too early, you expose yourself to opposition. You invite unnecessary opinions. You give people the opportunity to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. And sometimes you even give the competition a blueprint to move ahead of you. But those who understand power, they move differently. They don't waste time explaining. They don't seek permission. They don't spend energy trying to prove themselves. Instead, they work, they build, they execute, and by the time people notice, it's already too late to stop them. Look at nature. The most dangerous predators don't roar before they strike. The eagle doesn't scream before it catches its prey. The lion doesn't alert the jungle before it hunts. Why? Because silence is a strategy. Silence is an advantage. When you move in silence, you control the narrative. You protect your vision. You eliminate distractions. You stay focused. And most importantly, you let your read rules introduce you before you ever have to say a word. Think about the greatest innovations, the biggest breakthroughs, the most revolutionary ideas. They weren't announced before they were ready. They were developed in the background, worked on behind closed doors, tested, refined, and perfected so that when the world finally saw them, there was nothing anyone could do to deny them. This is how true power works. You don't have to convince people of who you are. You don't have to explain your every move. Just keep building, keep working, keep preparing, and when the time is right, let your results do the talking. But there's one more thing you need to know. Silence is powerful, but it's not enough on its own. Because even if you move in silence, if you don't have the right foundation, if you don't have the right structure, if you don't have the right systems in place, your success won't last. So how do you build a foundation strong enough to sustain your vision? How do you create a system that allows you to win, not just once, but over and over again? That is what we'll talk about next. Have you ever seen a skyscraper built in a day? Of course not. Before anyone ever sees a single floor rise, there are months, sometimes years, of planning, designing, and digging deep to lay a foundation strong enough to support the vision. The taller the building, the deeper the foundation. The greater the vision, the stronger the preparation. But here's the problem. Most people want to be seen before they've built anything worth seeing. They want applause before they produce results. They want recognition before they've put in the work. And because of that, they expose themselves too soon before they're truly ready. The truth is, if you don't build in private, you won't last in public. If you don't strengthen your foundation in silence, you won't be able to handle the weight of success when it comes. Too many people rush to announce their goals, their dreams, their next big move, only to crumble when the pressure comes because they weren't truly prepared. Think about a tree. Before it ever breaks through the soil, it spends months, sometimes years, developing its roots underground. No one sees the process, no one celebrates the growth. But without those roots, the moment a storm comes, that tree will fall. Success is no different. If you want to last, you must take time to build. You must be willing to do the work when no one is watching. You must be willing to lay the foundation when there is no audience, no applause, no recognition. This is what separates those who rise for a moment from those who rise and never fall. Because when you take time to prepare, when you strengthen your skills, when you master your craft in the dark, by the time the world sees you, you are unstoppable. Look at the people who have achieved great things, real lasting success. They didn't rush to be seen. They didn't crave attention before their time. They focused on the work. They focused on preparation. And because they built in silence, when they finally stepped into the light, no opposition, no criticism, no challenge could shake them. So ask yourself, are you more focused on being seen or being ready? Are you rushing to prove something to others, or are you committed to building something that will last? If you truly want success, don't seek the spotlight. Seek preparation, seek mastery, seek discipline. And when the time is right, your results will introduce you better than any announcement ever could. But there's something else. Even after you've built your foundation, even after you've prepared in silence, there's still a crucial factor that determines how high you can go. Because success is not just about what you build, it's also about who you allow into your process. So how do you protect your vision from the wrong people? How do you recognize who should be part of your journey and who should be kept at a distance. That is what we'll talk about next. Have you ever noticed that the most successful people are selective about who they allow into their circle? They don't just share their ideas with anyone. They don't invite just anyone into their process. Why? Because they understand a powerful truth. Not everyone deserves access to their vision. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is thinking that just because someone is around you, they are meant to walk with you. Just because someone listens to you doesn't mean they believe in you. And just because someone smiles in your face doesn't mean they want to see you succeed. Some people are dream killers, not because they hate you, but because they don't have the capacity to see what you see. Their mind is too small to understand the magnitude of your vision. Their experience is too limited to comprehend where you're going. And if you give them access to your dreams too soon, they will talk you out of it before you even get started. Think about it. How many times have people abandoned their dreams because of the opinions of others? How many brilliant ideas have been destroyed because someone listened to the wrong voice? How many visions have died, not because they weren't possible, but because they were exposed to the wrong people? You must be wise with who you allow into your process. Some people are not there to build with you, they are there to drain you. Some are not there to support you, they are there to compete with you. And some are not there to push you forward, they are there to slow you down. Look at an eagle. When it flies to great heights, it doesn't take every bird with it. Some birds can't handle that altitude. Some don't have the wings to soar at that level. If an eagle tries to take a sparrow to the heights it was designed for, the sparrow will not survive. And if you try to take the wrong people with you, they will only pull you down. This is why you must learn the art of separation. Not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. Not everyone who claps for you now will celebrate you later. And not everyone who says they support you will still be there when challenges come. So be selective. Be intentional. Choose wisely who you allow into your plans, your process, and your personal space. Your vision is too valuable to be shared with those who don't understand it. But there's one more thing. Even after you've protected your vision, even after you've been selective about who is around you, there's still something that can determine your success or failure. Your habits. Because it's not just about who is around you, it's about what you do daily. So how do you develop the habits that guarantee success? How do you train yourself to stay disciplined, focused, and unstoppable? That is what we'll talk about next. Success is not a mystery. It is not a matter of luck, chance, or wishing for the best. Success is a product of habits. What you do daily determines what you become permanently. Look around you. Every successful person, every great leader, every high achiever, none of them got there by accident. They didn't wake up one day and suddenly find themselves at the top. No, they got there because of consistent, disciplined action over time. But here's where most people go wrong. They focus on big dreams, but ignore small habits. They want a life of greatness, but they continue to live with habits of mediocrity. They say they want success, but their daily actions don't reflect that desire. And this is why so many never reach their potential. Not because they lack talent, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack the habits to sustain success. Think about it. What do you do when no one is watching? Because that is what determines where you'll end up. If you spend your days wasting time, making excuses, giving in to distractions, you cannot expect a future of greatness. But if you discipline yourself, if you commit to growth, if you train your mind and body to stay focused, then success is not a possibility, it is a guarantee. Let's look at nature. The sun does not rise some days and disappear on others. It follows a pattern. It is consistent. The seasons do not change randomly, they follow a system. And because of that, everything in nature operates with order and productivity. Now imagine if you applied that same level of consistency to your life. Imagine if you built a system for success. Imagine if you had daily habits that automatically moved you closer to your goals. What would happen? You would become unstoppable. But here's the hard truth. Building good habits is not easy. It takes discipline. It takes sacrifice. It takes saying no to distractions, no to excuses, no to temporary comfort in order to say yes to a greater future. You see, the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not intelligence. It's not background. It's not luck. It's habits. So ask yourself, what are your daily habits saying about your future? Are you developing the discipline to rise? Are you structuring your life in a way that guarantees success? Or are you living on autopilot, hoping things will change without you changing? Your future is being written by what you do today. If you master your habits, you master your destiny. But there's one more thing. Even if you have the right habits, even if you protect your vision, even if you move in silence, there's still something that can sabotage your success, and that is your mindset. Because no matter how talented, how skilled, or how disciplined you are, if your mind is not in the right place, you will never rise to your full potential. So how do you train your mind to think like a champion? How do you eliminate self-doubt and step fully into your power? That is what we'll talk about next. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have. It is the command center of your life, the architect of your destiny. Everything you have ever done, everything you will ever achieve begins with a single thought. But here's the truth. Your mind can either be your greatest weapon or your biggest enemy. You see, most people fail not because they aren't talented, not because they don't have opportunities, but because they have allowed their own minds to talk them out of success. They have allowed doubt to creep in. They have allowed fear to control their actions. They have allowed limiting beliefs to hold them hostage. Have you ever told yourself, I'm not good enough, I don't have what it takes, I'll never make it? Do you know what happens when you say those things? Your mind accepts them as truth. And when your mind believes something, your actions follow. If you believe you are weak, you will act weak. If you believe you will fail, you won't even try. If you believe success is impossible, you will never achieve it. But here's the good news. Just like negativity can program your mind for failure, positivity can program your mind for success. The difference between those who rise and those who fall is not just skill, not just opportunity, it is mindset. Look at the greatest achievers in history. They all had one thing in common, a mindset of winning. They refused to accept failure as final. They refused to be controlled by fear. They saw challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to grow. Your mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and insecurity, your life will produce failure. But if you plant seeds of confidence, discipline, and belief, your life will produce success. So how do you take control of your mind? How do you reprogram your thinking for greatness? First, watch your words. The words you speak shape your reality. Stop saying, I can't. Stop saying, it's too hard. Start declaring, I am capable. I am prepared. I am unstoppable. Second, Control your environment, the people you listen to, the information you consume, the conversations you engage in. These things are constantly feeding your mind. If you surround yourself with negativity, your thoughts will be negative. If you surround yourself with winners, your mind will learn to win. And third, take action. Confidence is built through action. The more you step out, the more you push yourself, the more you challenge your limits, the stronger your mindset becomes, because at the end of the day, success is not just about what you do, it's about how you think. If you train your mind to believe in success, nothing can stop you. But there's one final piece. You can have the right mindset, the right habits, and the right strategy. But if you don't know how to execute with precision, if you don't know how to turn vision into reels, you will stay stuck. So, how do you take everything we've talked about and turn it into unstoppable action? That is what we'll talk about next. You can have the biggest dreams, the best ideas, and the strongest mindset, but if you don't know how to execute, none of it matters. Because success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to action. How many people do you know who talk about what they're going to do year after year, but never actually do it? They have all the plans in their head, all the dreams in their heart, but they never take the first step. Why? Because they are waiting for the perfect moment. They are waiting for everything to be just right before they move. But let me tell you something. Perfection is the enemy of progress. The truth is, there is never a perfect time to start. There will always be challenges. There will always be reasons to wait. But those who succeed are not the ones who wait for the right conditions. They are the ones who create the right conditions through action. So how do you turn vision into reality? How do you execute with precision? First, clarify your goals. A vision without a plan is just a dream. You must break your goals down into clear, actionable steps. What must be done today to move you forward? What must be done this week, this month? The more specific your plan, the easier it is to execute. Second, stop overthinking. Some people spend so much time planning, analyzing, and debating that they never actually move. They think about what could go wrong, what might not work, and they paralyze themselves with doubt. But success is built through motion. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to take the first step. Third, build discipline. Execution is not about doing things when you feel like it. It's about committing to the process, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching, even when results are not immediate. Because consistency beats talent, discipline beats motivation, and the person who refuses to quit is the person who will win. Finally, adapt and adjust. No journey to success is ever a straight line. You will face obstacles, you will make mistakes, but the key is to learn, adjust, and keep moving. Too many people give up the moment they face resistance, but those who succeed understand that failure is just feedback. It's a lesson, not a limit. So the question is, are you ready to take action? Are you ready to stop waiting, stop hesitating, and start executing? Because the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the decision to move. You were not designed for mediocrity. You were not meant to live small. You have a vision inside of you that is too big to be ignored. So don't waste another moment. The time is now. The opportunity is now. Your future is waiting. And the only thing left to do is step into it.